Have you ever wondered how one unexpected moment can completely change two strangers' lives? Sometimes fate doesn't knock on the door. It crashes into your life when you least expect it. Today's story is about a powerful CEO who has everything money can buy, but still feels empty inside, and a hardworking young woman who has almost nothing, yet possesses the kind of kindness that money can never purchase. Their worlds are completely different, but one rainy night brings them together in a way neither of them could have imagined. So sit back, relax, and watch until the end, because this drama is filled with romance, mystery, betrayal, emotional moments, and shocking twists that get getting bigger with every episode. The story begins on a stormy evening. Heavy rain pours over the city while lightning flashes across the sky. Inside the tallest office building stands Adrian Hart, one of the country's youngest and most successful CEOs. Everyone knows him as a fearless businessman who never loses a negotiation and never lets emotions affect his decisions. His company dominates the market, his competitors fear him, and the media constantly praises his success. But behind that confident appearance lies a lonely man. Since losing his parents years ago, Adrian has buried himself in work. Wealth and success have brought him power, but they have never filled the emptiness inside his heart. On the other side of the city lives Emily Carter, a young woman whose life couldn't be more different. Every single day she works 2 jobs just to pay for her mother's medical treatment. During the day she works in a small bookstore, and in the evenings she serves customers at a local cafe. Life has never been easy for her, but despite all the struggles, she never complains. She believes that as long as she keeps moving forward, tomorrow will eventually become better. One rainy night, after finishing work, Emily rushes home through the crowded streets. Suddenly, she notices a luxury black car speeding toward an intersection. Within seconds, the driver loses control. The vehicle slams into a roadside barrier with a deafening crash. People nearby freeze in fear. Some pull out their phones. Others simply watch from a distance. But Emily doesn't hesitate. Ignoring the danger, she runs toward the burning vehicle. Thick smoke begins pouring from the engine, and flames slowly spread underneath the car. She desperately pulls at the damaged door. At first, it won't move, but after using all her strength, the door finally opens. Inside sits an unconscious man covered in blood. Emily drags him out of the vehicle just seconds before the car explodes behind them. The crowd is stunned. No one expected an ordinary young woman to risk her own life for a complete stranger. The unconscious man is immediately rushed to the hospital. The next morning, Adrian slowly opens his eyes. Doctors inform him that he survived only because someone rescued him before the explosion. His first question surprises everyone. He doesn't ask about his company. He doesn't ask about the damaged car. Instead, he quietly asks, "Who saved my life?" His security team immediately begins searching for the mysterious woman. After several hours, they finally find Emily back at work, arranging books inside a quiet bookstore as though nothing unusual had happened. Later that afternoon, Adrian personally visits the store. Emily looks up and is shocked to see the man she rescued standing in front of her. Adrian sincerely thanks her and offers a generous financial reward. But Emily gently smiles and shakes her head. "I didn't save you because you're rich," she says. "I saved you because you needed help." For a moment, Adrian doesn't know what to say. Throughout his life, almost everyone around him has wanted something: money, influence, or business opportunities. Emily is the first person who expects absolutely nothing in return. That simple conversation leaves a deeper impression on him than any business deal ever has. The two continue talking for a while. Adrian discovers that Emily dreams of opening a small community library where children can read books for free. Emily, meanwhile, realizes that behind Adrian's serious personality is a man carrying years of loneliness and responsibility. For the first time in a long while, Adrian finds himself genuinely smiling. But while they enjoy their conversation, neither of them notices a black sedan parked quietly across the street. Inside the vehicle, a mysterious man photographs them from a distance before making a phone call. "The CEO has finally found someone important," he says coldly. A voice replies from the other end, "Keep watching the girl. She may become the key to everything." At that moment, neither Adrian nor Emily realizes that their chance meeting has already attracted the attention of dangerous enemies. What began as a simple act of kindness is about to become the center of a deadly conspiracy. And this is only the beginning of their story. The next morning, Emily tries to forget everything that happened the previous night. Saving a stranger from a burning car still feels unreal, but life doesn't stop because of one heroic moment. Her mother's hospital bills are still waiting, rent is still due, and both of her jobs demand her attention. For Emily, survival always comes before celebration. Meanwhile, things are very different at Hart Group. The moment Adrian arrived at headquarters, every executive rushes into the conference room. Reports about the accident cover the table. Engineers confirm that the crash wasn't caused by bad weather alone. Something about the vehicle seems suspicious. Daniel, Adrian's most trusted assistant, notices that his boss isn't paying attention. Instead of looking at the reports, Adrian keeps staring through the office window. Daniel smiles. "You're thinking about the girl, aren't you?" Adrian doesn't deny it. After a short silence, he calmly replies, "Find out who she is." Within a few hours, Daniel returns with a small file. Emily Carter, 24 years old. Works in a bookstore during the day and a cafe at night. Her father passed away several years ago, leaving her to care for her sick mother alone. Adrian quietly closes the file. He has spent his entire life surrounded by wealthy and ambitious people. Emily is different. Despite carrying so many burdens, she still risked her own life to save someone she had never met. That kind of kindness is rare. Later that afternoon, Adrian visits the bookstore again. This time, there are no cameras, no bodyguards, and no expensive suits trying to impress anyone. He simply wants to talk. Emily looks surprised when she sees him standing between the bookshelves. "You came back?" Adrian smiles slightly. "I don't usually leave things unfinished." The two begin talking like ordinary friends. Emily recommends a few novels she enjoys reading during quiet evenings. Adrian admits that he hasn't read a novel in years because work has consumed almost every hour of his life. Emily laughs. "Then maybe your company isn't the only thing that needs attention." For the first time in years, someone speaks to Adrian without fear or admiration. She simply treats him like a normal person. Oddly enough, he enjoys it. As evening approaches, Adrian offers to drive Emily home. At first, she refuses. "Our lives are completely different," she says. "You belong in luxury cars. I take the bus." Adrian looks at her for a moment before answering. "Maybe we're not as different as you think." After a little hesitation, Emily accepts. During the drive, they avoid talking about money or business. Instead, they share simple stories about childhood memories, favorite books, and dreams for the future. Adrian admits that if he weren't running a billion-dollar company, he would probably have become an architect. Emily laughs. "I never imagined a CEO saying something like that." The conversation feels natural. Neither of them notices how quickly time passes. But not everyone is happy about their growing friendship. Across the street, the same black sedan quietly follows them. Inside, a man takes several photographs before sending them to someone unknown. A few minutes later, inside a luxurious office, another man studies those pictures carefully. His cold smile slowly appears. So, the great Adrian Hart finally has someone he cares about. He places Emily's photograph on the table. That makes everything much easier. Back at Hart Group, Daniel continues investigating the accident. Late that night, he enters Adrian's office with serious news. The brakes didn't fail naturally. Adrian slowly raises his head. "What do you mean?" "They were deliberately damaged." The room becomes completely silent. That changes everything. This wasn't an accident. Someone had planned to kill Adrian. Daniel continues. "Whoever did this understands our company's security systems." Adrian immediately realizes what that means. The enemy isn't outside. Someone inside Hart Group is secretly helping them. Before either of them can continue discussing the investigation, Adrian's phone suddenly rings. It's Emily. Her voice sounds nervous. "I think someone is following me." Adrian instantly stands up. "Where are you?" She quickly tells him her location. Without wasting another second, Adrian orders his security team into action. Outside, Emily notices the same black sedan slowing down behind her. Two unfamiliar men step out and begin walking toward her. Her heartbeat races. She looks around desperately, searching for somewhere to run. Just then, several black SUVs suddenly arrive. Adrian's security team jumps out and positions themselves between Emily and the strangers. Seeing they have lost the advantage, the two men immediately run back to their car and disappear. Only minutes later, Adrian himself arrives. The first thing he asks isn't about the attackers. He looks directly at Emily. "Are you hurt?" She slowly shakes her head. "No." "But who were they?" Adrian doesn't answer immediately, because the truth is, he still doesn't know. But one thing has become painfully clear. The people trying to destroy him have now discovered Emily's existence. And from this moment forward, she is no longer just an innocent stranger. She has officially become part of a dangerous game that neither of them fully understands. Emily couldn't stop thinking about what had happened the previous evening. The fear of being followed still lingered in her mind, but even more confusing was Adrian's reaction. He had arrived within minutes, as if he had already expected something bad to happen. The next morning, she returned to the bookstore and tried to focus on work. Customers came and went. The shelves were filled with novels, history books, and children's stories. Everything looked perfectly normal. But deep inside, Emily knew her life had changed. Across the city, Adrian wasn't having an easier day. Inside Hart Group, an emergency security meeting was already underway.
Daniel projected surveillance photos onto a large screen. "We've analyzed the attack," he explained. "The men who followed Emily disappeared without leaving any evidence. The car they used was stolen, and every security camera along their escape route had been disabled." Adrian folded his arms. "They planned everything." Daniel nodded. "And whoever organizes this knows exactly how our company operates." The room fell silent. That statement confirmed Adrian's biggest fear. Someone inside Heart Group was secretly helping the enemy. After the meeting ended, Adrian stood alone in his office, staring out at the skyline. For years, he had defeated powerful business rivals without hesitation. But this situation was different. This time, an innocent woman had become involved simply because she had saved his life. He quietly made a promise to himself. "No matter what happens, I won't let Emily get hurt." Meanwhile, Emily was finishing her afternoon shift when an elderly man slowly walked into the bookstore. He wore a gray coat and leaned on a wooden cane. His gentle smile made him look harmless. "Excuse me," he said politely. "I'm looking for a history book."
Emily smiled and guided him toward the back shelves. As she searched through the books, the old man's expression suddenly changed. His smile disappeared. Without looking directly at her, he whispered, "Leave Adrian Hart before it's too late." Emily froze. "What did you say?" The old man calmly picked up a random book, placed it back on the shelf, and walked away without another word. By the time Emily rushed outside, he had completely vanished into the crowd. Her hands trembled as she immediately called Adrian. Less than 15 minutes later, Adrian and Daniel arrived at the bookstore. Security officers reviewed every surveillance camera. Daniel frowned. That wasn't an old customer. He was wearing professional makeup and a disguise. Adrian's expression darkened. So this wasn't a warning. It was a message. Emily looked at him nervously. "Why would they warn me instead of attacking me?" Adrian answered after a long pause, "Because they want you to leave me willingly." Emily slowly understood. "If I disappear, they can come after you without worrying about me." Adrian nodded silently. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Emily finally broke the silence. "Maybe they're right." Adrian looked up immediately. "What do you mean?" "If staying close to you puts everyone in danger." Before she could finish, Adrian interrupted her. "No." His voice was calm but unusually firm. "I've spent years protecting my company. I can protect you too." Emily could see something different in his eyes. This wasn't the cold businessman everyone talked about. This was a man genuinely afraid of losing someone important. She smiled softly. "I believe you." Those 3 simple words meant more to Adrian than she could ever imagine. Later that evening, Daniel arrived with another investigation report. This time, the news was even worse. The brake failure wasn't the only sabotage. We found evidence that confidential company files have been leaking for months. Adrian slowly closed the report. So the attacks started long before the accident. Daniel nodded. "And whoever is responsible has access to highly classified information." Adrian looked toward the window once again. The enemy wasn't just trying to destroy his business, they were trying to destroy his entire life. At that exact moment, somewhere inside a luxurious penthouse overlooking the city, a mysterious man stood beside the glass window, quietly watching the skyline. On the table in front of him lay dozens of photographs. Every single one showed Adrian and Emily together. The man picked up one picture and smiled. "They're getting closer." Good. The closer they become, the more painful their separation will be. He slowly burned one of the photographs in a silver ashtray. The flames reflected across his cold eyes. Outside, dark clouds once again gathered over the city. Neither Adrian nor Emily realized that the real game had only just begun, and their invisible enemy was finally preparing to make the first truly deadly move.